Today we have a special guest on our show. He has been strength and conditioning coach for more than 20 years now. Besides having worked with many Grand Slam champions, he has also trained athletes from alpine skiing to, I don't know, MMA. Presently, he is leading the physical education department in the PRT Tennis Center, and he's associated with Olympic gold medalist Alexander Zverev. Please welcome Mr. Dalibor Sirola.
Hello everyone. First of all, thank you for having me. It's a big pleasure to be part of your podcast. I saw all the other names who were on this podcast, so it's a big honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time and for speaking to us today. So, Dalibor, you are leading the the fitness division at the PRT Tennis Center. What does your day look like?
But usually days here are quite busy because we are a little bit different than classic academies in a way that we, besides having players here, we provide also consulting services for the other pro players and their teams, for the other clubs from all over the Europe, and also we provide consulting services for the tennis federation for all over the world. So almost every week we have someone here who wanted to improve something, regarding working with the player physically or from the physio perspective side. Then, or someone is coming like a clubs, they want to learn how we manage the center, the collaboration between the areas. Because this is the second point, we are here for main areas. So it's a gym area, physio area, tennis, of course, and then management. And we try to work together. So like really good teamwork, and we communicate all the time, the meetings, how to improve it and everything. Then inside the gym, we are 7, including me, 8 fitness coaches. So, also here we have regular meetings. I'm trying to speak with the guys, having small conferences, educating them. So, and then in the end, we have also players we should work with. So usually it's a quite busy time when I'm here.
And how about you? How did your interest in fitness develop, and how did you associate yourself to tennis?
But as a kid, I was always around the sport. As a young man, I was playing 3 different sports. I was good, but looks like not good enough to become a serious pro athlete. Then I decided later on to study, to went for kinesiology, faculty of kinesiology in Zagreb, so I finished it, and then I started to work in the regular fitness centers. And then together with one physiotherapist, we decided to open together a center which we call the Recreation or Rehabilitation Center. Then after a few years, we had so many athletes there coming, or because they wanted to just do kind of rehabilitation and coming back to the sport, or there was more and more athletes that were interested in physical preparation. And then I was lucky enough that one day Ivan Ljubicic came to this center. We are talking about 2007, 2008. And he was at the first, he was coming there with his old fitness coach doing part of the preparation, because he's based also close to my center, my ex-center. So he saw me there in 2009. He asked me if we can start to work together maybe. And rest is the history. So I was lucky enough that he was there, and then probably if he was not there, I wouldn't be here today talking with you. So rest is the history.
Yeah. So you just mentioned you were not good enough to become a professional athlete, but you are making the good athletes into their best version. So I think kudos to that.
Yeah, thank you very much if you think so. But I'm a strong believer in the teamwork, and I always had good people around me. So from the tennis coaches, if you are talking about the tennis world, of course, from the tennis coaches, from the physiotherapy side as well. So doctors as well. So I'm a big believer in this teamwork, and I'm always trying to surround myself with the good people and to work together, because like this, there is a more chances to have a success.
Speaking about Lubicic, one of your first students during the Indian Wells 2010, you were coaching him, and he beat three big names, namely Djokovic, Nadal, Roddick. Do you remember that historic win in California? And what do you think about that glory moment right now?
Yeah, it was incredible experience for me because I was young in the tennis world. As I told you, I started with Ivan in 2009. So actually, I was not there in Indian Wells. I was not present there, but I was on the tournament before Indian Wells. I was in Dubai with him, where he played also Djokovic, and he lost in the quarters after winning first set 6-2. It was a great match. And I can notice that something is going on in the right direction, because he was playing really well over there, especially serving well, which was a big part of his game. And then he left for Indian Wells, of course, and he did what he did. It was a huge success, and again, it was a big experience for me emotionally as well, because you're young in this sport, you don't understand quite a bit, how the things are going, and then your player is winning one of the big tournaments. So it was like, as I said, a big emotional moment for me, of course.
Good to know that. And presently, you're associated with an exceptional talent on the ATP Tour. But unfortunately, in the year 2022, it was an agonizing year for him with the ankle twist at the French Open. But he did bounce back after the match against semi-final match against Nadal, and with his immense grace, and presently he's one of the best players in the world. In your opinion, can Sasha Zverev, can he fulfill that unfulfilled Grand Slam dream of his? It was close, I think, US Open 2020, just one game away, and also last month in the semi-finals, he was 2 sets up. So, what is he lacking that one Grand Slam trophy he cannot clinch?
So listen. So I can talk about last year, because I'm working with Sasha now a little bit more than 1 year. I started last year after Australia. So I don't know how it was before. He was a champion. I was back before. I was working with other players, and I know how it was to be in the other box, playing against him. But I didn't know things from the inside. Now I'm inside. Right now, I think, and we are constantly talking about this, it's a little bit more about how we program the whole season, especially tournaments before a Grand Slam. Then from the technical, tactical standpoint, how he plays early round matches, because I took out a lot of statistics where I showed to him that basically going to the quarters and semis, he's the guy who is playing the most time. So he's spending the most time on the court. And especially in this late round matches, this is what is count, because fatigue starts to be a major thing, So it's more about this, how to prepare these big tournaments, and then how you play this first round matches. I think it's more about this, than lack of physical preparation or something else.
So, do you think he can he replicate his Tokyo Olympics glory moment in Paris this summer? Like, it will be a redemption moment for him. He was brutally injured 2 years ago, and he had the medal.
Listen, so he won Olympics already in Tokyo, so for sure he will be one of the favorites. But we need to wait a little bit, because we need to see first how how the season will proceed, especially when start the clay season, how the players will play there. You know, the tennis it's a brutal sport in a way that the season it's 11 months long. So you know it's difficult to be on your peak all the time. So as I said, we need to see how the season will proceed to have more idea who will be there, the favorite one. Of course, he is one of these favorites because when you look at his career, he has 21 titles, and he distributes them evenly: 7 on clay, 7 indoor, 7 outdoor. You know, so he has the best percentage of winning matches on the clay from the other surfaces. You know, so for sure he will be one of the favorites. Yeah, for sure.
And speaking about someone you trained for 4 successful years, in a way, you groomed his body, you developed his athletic side, and you made him fit. Right now, he is regarded as one of the top players, and also you made him fit to compete against them. And over the past 20 years, he has been the first man who is not named Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, or Wawrinka to win in Melbourne. Yannick Sinner, how happy and proud were you to see him on the highest platform at the Australian Open this year?
Of course, that I'm extremely happy for him. It's a big result, and we always knew since he was a boy. So he came here when he was 14. We always knew that he has something inside him. You know, of course, you cannot predict that he's gonna win that he's gonna be the Grand Slam champion or whatever. But we always knew that there is something inside him, and all of us who worked with him before are happy for him, and we see this his success as a small part of also of our success. We are still in contact, of course, and we send huge congratulations and everything. So yeah, and I think now he will make a history now. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That's lovely to know you're still in contact. Also, yesterday he won a title in Rotterdam.
Yeah, he also won. Yeah, yeah.
And also, like, he has been facing some injuries in his career. Why do you think it's happening? He's young, he's fit, he plays well.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me since I was working with him from the young age, no? But first of all, there was not like heavy injuries in a way like Sasha had, you know. So there were
Yeah.
small injuries, but I think it was related more to one thing which I tried to explain already a few times. So he was so-called late bloomer, if you know what that means. So he was always late in his development, hormonally and physically. So for example, when he was 16, he looked more like a guy of 14, 15 years old, you know. So he was always a little bit behind his generation regarding physical conditioning and physical state of his body, you know. We were always discussing what to do, how to do with him, because he was so skinny with no muscles with 16 years old. And of course that you want to do like strength training to put some muscles back. But on the other side, our doctor in our team, he was saying always that be careful, be mindful. His growth plates are still wide open, so he will still grow a lot. So don't overtrain him, no? So go step by step, give him a little bit more time. And you know, I think when he stepped on the big scene, you know, he was playing already good, but body was still not there. You know, was not mature enough. It was not, I think, a question of the training. You know, it was maturing of the body. Now I can see him. He finally grow in a man. You know, I can see this on the tour now, and I think from now on, this kind of small problems that he had in the last 2 years will disappear.
All right. So, speaking about another legendary player that you coached, she's a 5-time Grand Slam champion,
Yeah.
and you were with her up until her retirement, Maria Sharapova. Is she as intense as on the training courts, like what we see during matches? How's her personality different while working behind the
Yeah, that was a great experience. It was unfortunately it was short, a little bit more than 6 months, because Maria decided to retire. But it was a really great experience because you can be close to one big champion like she was. And yeah, she was energetic. One thing what was really like stunned me, it was level of energy that when the practice starts, regardless if it's on the court or in the gym, or even in the physio area, you know, the amount of attention she puts in everything, and then of course intensity when we start to do a work, it was unbelievable from the first minute to the last minute. And also maybe, if I can be honest, the maybe the most emotional moment in my tennis career, let's call it like this, since I'm with the tennis players only, it was when she called us in her hotel room in Melbourne. I still remember like it was yesterday. And when she said that she will retire, that she cannot continue, and she was crying, talking with all of us, with the team, it was like really emotionally to see this, to see one such a big champion that she is like decided to do so, and it was tough decision also for her. So it was a big moment, yeah, and a big time to be around her for like I said, unfortunately short period of time.
Yeah. Like, I think that must have been one of the major challenges while coaching her while she's almost close to the finish line of her career.
Yeah, but you know, when she came, she already had, when she came here in the center, sorry. So she already had 3 big shoulder injuries, you know, and we were fighting with this shoulder, you know, to make her healthy. And it was, you know, 2 days better, good, then 3 days again, bad pain. So, you know, so it was more managing her to stay healthy and to be able to play than doing real preparation and everything else, you know. So again, it was a big experience, and I'm always said to her that I would like to coach her a little bit, maybe before 2 years, 3 years before. I think we will do a great things with her. Yeah, for sure.
Regardless of her injuries towards the end of her career, no matter how her career ended, she'll always be the legend in the tennis world.
Yeah, she is for sure regarding Grand Slam victories and everything. She
Yeah.
is one of the top female players of all time.
Mhm.
But also she was so famous, not only on the court, also outside the court. Wherever we went with her, it was impossible, you know, so many people around her. Everyone knew in advance where she will be, you know, so you can feel this atmosphere around her. So as I said, she was big champion on the court, but also so famous outside the court as well.
And another talented name you were associated with, your countryman Borna
Yeah.
Choric. Both of you hail from the same nation, and currently he's returning from a long injury. What is your relationship like with him, and do you guys still keep in touch?
But to be honest, I stayed with all players which I worked before. I stayed in a good relationship. Also with Borna is the same. I remember 2022. No, he won Cincinnati. Yes, it was a major thing for him because when he was working with us, he was so close. He lost final Shanghai against Djokovic, and then he lost semi-final India Wells, losing to Roger. So you know, and then he finally made it 2022, and I immediately sent him a message. And when I saw him, we hugged ourselves. You know, so it was like, as I said, I'm trying to remain in a normal relationship with everyone because in the end we are all humans, and we try to do our best to help them grow and improve on the court, of course.
Also, you joined Milos Raonic's team, and while he was being coached with Ivan Lubicic, all of you had enormous success. He reached the semifinals of AO, and also at Wimbledon, he was the finalist. And it was a remarkable moment for him and also for your career. Can you tell us something about the memory which still stands in your head? He defeated Federer in his own backyard on the final match against Andy Murray.
Yeah, that was actually my first and only Grand Slam final so far with some players. You know, I worked so many years, but I was a little bit unlucky or maybe not good enough. I don't know, but yeah,
Shanta is still there. Don't worry.
I don't know. Yes, so yeah, with Milos was a big challenge. Of course, 4 years we tried to give our best, and in a way we did a good job. He was number 3 in the world. He played his best tennis while he was we were together. And yeah, this match with Roger, 5-setter, you know, on the Wimbledon. But we need to be honest. Roger was injured already there. He had knee problem. Straight after the Wimbledon, he went on this knee operation. So, but again, Milos won. He made it to the final, and in the final, he was tense. He was like under huge pressure. His first final. So I think I don't want to take credit away from Andy, of course, but Milos, you know, first experience in the final was a little bit overwhelming for him in a way, but still it was a huge thing. And yeah, it was 4 tough but beautiful years with him. Again, great experience where I learned a lot. Because we were constantly on the top level, constantly top 10, you know. And I think later on in my career, I used well this experience which I gained with him. Yeah.
And also recently, he retired from his match against Sinner in Rotterdam. Like he played a very close first set. What do you think about the late comeback in his career? And do you have any advice for Raonic?
Yeah. Actually, there is one story behind his comeback. So 2 years ago, it was April, yeah, 2022. He contacted me like that he planned to come back and asked me what I think about this or if I can help him. And then, as he was getting married back then in Tuscany, in Italy, I said to him, why after the celebration you don't come here in the center, it's close to the Tuscany, and then we can work together for 1 week, 10 days, whatever, and then we can see and discuss and everything, you know, because I wanted to test him a little bit and everything, you know. And so it started, you know, he was here for 1 week, and then my colleagues, my coaches went with him to Bahamas because he's based there to start working physically for his comeback and everything. You know, when you have such a big break as he had to come back, you know, it's not easy, especially now also at his age. So this kind of problems that he has, I'm not saying it's expected to have them, but he needs to be like constant in the work and again planning intelligently tournaments, giving always rest to the body after the tournament, then retrain and then compete, you know, and hopefully I hope he will be able to perform again on high level.
And you have always worked with many prolific tennis players over the time span of 2 decades, your entire career. How has fitness evolved from the dating back to the time you started with Ivan Lisic?
Yeah, it evolved a lot. So another small story when back then, let's go again to the Milos. So during that Wimbledon, which we were talking about before, there was great coaches in our team. No, it was Riccardo Piatti, of course, and then Carlos Moya and John McEnroe was also part of the coaching staff.
Okay.
And you know, when you have this kind of people and then around you, especially I was always trying to get some knowledge from them. And I remember asking John, for example, as an older generation, more than Carlos, for example, I was asking him, but what you were doing, not only you, John, also other guys physically, you know? And he said basically nothing. So maybe some stretching, some time, or maybe some running like a warm up, but more or less that was it, you know. And it was not strange that with 30 years old, they were already in the end of their careers, more or less. No, now you can see the players like Novak, like Rafa is trying to do. Roger was doing the same. You know, not only be able to play when you are 35 or more, but able to compete on the highest level. You know, and part of this it's also because you know there is. Approach how you treat the body from the treatment standpoint, for the training standpoint. Then medications are there. Then also physiotherapy evolved, machines. So when you include everything of this into regular daily work, you can have this based nutrition. Nutrition it's evolved a lot, especially recently, because Novak also talked a lot about nutrition last 2, 10, 15 years. So players are taking much more attention to this supplementation as well. So because of all of that, longevity, it's a different, you know. Also, how we train athletes outside the court. I remember when I started, for example, I remember that my first tournaments, a lot of other coaches was coming to me and asking me like, "Are you Pilates instructor or what?" Because you know I was always taking care a lot about training of flexibility, mobility, you know, that kind of stuff. And the coaches was asking me, "What are you doing? Like you are kind of Pilates coach or whatever?" Because also, I'm not saying that I brought something new, you know, but it was a little bit different that the other guys were doing. And then there was questions, you know, what we're doing now. When you get to the, let's say, Grand Slams, because then we are all together, especially a week before the start of the Slam, you can see that the players are doing this mobility, whatever routines, and all are doing more or less the same now, taking care of their bodies. Yeah.
So you just explained how with supplementations and nutrition the fitness has evolved. Do you think players right now are fitter than the older generation?
Yes, of course. Yes, yeah. The answer was before, yeah, for sure. Because you know, like any other sport, if you watch the football, I mean European football matches or basketball matches, whatever, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there was exceptional athletes also back then. But the game is much faster, you know. The game of tennis is much faster. The ball is going faster through the air, you know. So also players needs to move faster, react faster. So everything is faster. So that's why also the physical state of the players must be better, and it is better for sure.
You have immense experience in tennis. You have worked with so many names, and you have, if I'm not wrong, you have been to all the tournaments in the 5 continents. So, what is one memory that still stands in your head, one achievement a player did, or something which is really personal to you and you want to relive it again?
So it's so many of them. I think it would be unfair now to pick only one or two. I don't know. As I said before, this emotional moment from Maria when she was retiring, then from beginning when Ivan won the first Master 1000, you know, in Indian Wells. So many moments, you know. And as I said, it would be really unfair to pick only one moment. Also, you didn't ask me. I worked also with one great guy. I stayed in such a good relationship. It was Andrea Seppi, Italian player, you know, with best ranking top 18, you know, top 20. So he was 18. You know, after some period of time, we were more friends than actually have this kind of relationship than coach and player, you know. So really to pick up now one thing will be unfair.
Okay. And also, you're living away from home. You're a crotch.
Yeah.
And you have been loyal to the PRT Tennis Center for long years now, major part of your career, and it is located in Italy. So how does it feel living away from home?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, especially for my family. But I have big understanding from their side, so which is helping, because without their support and understanding, all of this will be impossible for me to reach all of this. What I managed to do with all these guys. So how much I'm thankful for these players and teams around me. The same thanks go to my family to understand me and support me. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Talibu, for your time. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
indeed. And I wish you all the best for the rest of the year with Sasha. And I hope to see you soon again.
Thank you very much. And again, it was a big pleasure to be on your podcast. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day. Bye.
Bye bye.